Okay, we'll stop there.
We're about to get a deep look into Colson's psyche there.
Right? I mean, isn't that what this show is about?
Pretty much.
Haven't we learned
65 episodes of...
This is basically figure out what makes Coulson tick. And then how it affects you two.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet journey box. Put some strings on.
That train is off the track.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... yeah, so just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is January 16th, 2022, and this is episode 565. Coming to you from the high school home of Jamison Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm your host this week, Jason Triplett. This show, we're going to discuss a 0-3 week of Pacers basketball, including games against Boston, and Phoenix. Joining me this week to discuss it all are two of our three analysts, coast to coast like buttered toast. First, from snowy Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles. It's John Coulson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? It's amazing that I even have wavelength to talk to you. We are fully snowed in here. But what I would like to do is shout out to the host, Jason Triplett. I know it's been a rough week, and every time Joey's not around, we just make you do this. So, shout out.
It's my pleasure.
Shout out.
Thank you. And from Boise, Idaho out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? Chattanooga 0-3, baby.
You know, I predicted 2-1, I believe.
I don't know why you did that. I didn't know at the time why you were doing that.
He saw something. He saw something in Phoenix that we could beat.
Yeah, well, let's go find that glint of hope remaining in your soul and just squash that ember right out.
I had
I'm gonna do
the Lance feel.
3 quick shout-outs before we get started. First, shout-out to the enforcer who had a birthday last week.
Oh!
Happy birthday, buddy.
What?
Thanks, man.
You're 54.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Second, my dad, who also had a birthday last week.
Also 54.
Also 54.
Also 54. And finally, to my, what is he? My grandfather-in-law, Alan Serrell. Big Al, as we know, passed away last week at the ripe young age of 106 years old.
Wow.
And this dude was incredible, and he deserves a shout-out. We throw around the term American hero, or what do we call that? What do we call D.Y. Young? She's a American treasure. Anyway, This guy is actually an American treasure. Served in World War II on the only battle on American soil, but was like a really interesting dude, just like hung out in Alaska and picked flowers with a botanist and like hung out with all the dogs and whatnot. Like, was not a war guy, but was there. And led an interesting life. Was super interested in everything, and I'm super glad I had a chance to have him as a part of my life for a little bit, and he will be missed.
Shout out.
So shout out to him.
Yeah.
I'll include a couple links in the show notes so you can hear more about his incredible story from World War II. And before we start the show, I just want to remind you folks that this show is brought to you by you. If you want to support us, you can head over to patreon.com/undebeatables, and you can donate or subscribe for as little as $1 a month. And if you give $5 or $10, you get some behind-the-scenes action. You get to get in on our Slack chats if you want, and get a koozie. Okay. 3 games this week in Tankapalooza. World, starting Monday, January 10th, the Pacers played at Boston. Close one here, ends up going into overtime, but the Pacers don't have enough left in the tank to pull it out, and they lose this one 101-98 to the Celtics. Torrey Craig, the Pacers' leading scorer, with 19 points in this game. So shout out to him, but anytime Torrey Craig's your leading scorer, it's probably not.
It's not a W.
Domantas Sabonis had another triple-double, 11 points, 22 rebounds, and 10 assists.
22 rebounds!
Yeah. And Lancey Pants was making them dance, chipped in 14 points and made some pretty good plays down the stretch there. Wednesday, January 12th, played the Celtics again, this time in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And this game was not at all like the first one. Of course, the Pacers are returning. Brogdon returns to the lineup. LeVert's returning to the lineup. So we got all our horses. Here we go.
Got worse.
Here we go.
Let's lose by 19. So the Pacers dropped this one 119-100. Miles Turner led the way with 18. Sabonis had 17.
Did he lead the way,
LeVert had
though?
16.
Sorry.
Statistically,
Okay.
yes. I'm sure we'll get into it, but Brogdon reappeared and played 17 minutes before re-injuring his Achilles. And then Friday, January 14th, the Pacers round out the week against, I believe, the league-leading Phoenix Suns. Again, fight valiantly for 3 quarters, and then give up 38 or something in the fourth quarter, and lose 112-94 in this one. Justin Holiday, the leading scorer in this one, 25 points, hit 7 of 14 from 3-point range. LeVert took over the playmaking duties, had 20 points and 9 assists. And Sabonis, yet another double-double, 14 points and 14 rebounds in this one. And so with that recap, there's a lot going on. And to summarize this, we're going to turn to our newest segment, America's fastest-growing poetry segment in podcast form, the Haiku Life Champagne of Poems Corner, featuring John Colson.
All right. So this week, thank you for setting me up because some weeks it feels a little out of place, but this week I feel like I'm dead on with this one. Season midway point is here. Time to reflect on middling, pointless team.
These are cheerier every week, aren't they?
Basically, the last one the only one that was happy was the Lance one. I think everything else has been just really sad. It's been a tough year, Harper. It's been tough.
Well, Harper, what did you see this week from the boys?
Well, went out and found some new ways to lose some basketball games. Always fun. We got some free basketball if you wanted more of that in the first game. If you wanted more basketball out of these guys. I mean, it's just not a very good week. That Phoenix game was kind of fun for a while, but, I mean, even when we were kind of in that thing, the ends of quarters, the end of halves, they just shut the door on us so hard. They're so much better than we are. And it was fun to watch Chris Paul put us in the spin cycle there at the end of that one. But really not that competitive when it came down to it. It's tough to lose 2 to Boston. I don't know. Is this team actively tanking now? Like, what is happening?
Well, no, this is my thing, Harper. I agree with you. Like, in a different season, I'd be like, oh, hey, look, we played well against the Suns, and we just got beat at the end of quarters and the end of halves, and they're the best team in the league. But the thing is when you look at it, you're like, are we even good enough to be like getting embarrassed this way? Like on some level, like it seems like this is falling apart. Right? Like, I thought we could at least split the Boston games. We were in Boston. We forced it to overtime. I mean, actually, Jason Tatum forced it to overtime. But, but Lance, had a beautiful rebound and, like, passed down, like, a full court pass to, like, make it interesting at the end of that. I thought, I just feel like on some level, we are trying, but like we're nowhere close to anything, and it's not. I can't accept the fact that we're this bad. Like I really can't. Like I feel we have enough talent. Like we're not filled with a bunch of first and second year guys. Like this is what you look like when you're tanking, and like I don't understand how we got here. It's been a rough week.
Well, we are 1-9 in our last 10 and 13 games under 500. So,
well, I mean, and also I think we gotta say like I think the stat is we're 1-14 in games decided in the last 3 minutes or whatever, or 5 minutes. Like that resonates. We've talked basically this entire podcast about how we can't win down the stretch, but like, damn.
yeah.
I mean, that pretty much says it, right? Like, I mean, this team has had a myriad of issues this year. Case in point, the second Boston game, 3-point shooting. I think the Pacers were they shot 19% from 3-point range. Yeah, which is not good. At one point, they were 5 for 31 or something like that, which was like bordering on 12%. They finished, what was it?
7 of 36.
7 for 36. So they brought it up there towards the end, which is good. But I mean, it's just like the things that you need to do to win basketball games, like this team just does not do in today's NBA, right? Like shoot the 3-pointer and close down the stretch. And we're seeing, case in point, how NBA games are won or lost these days, right? You need a guy that can make shots down the stretch, and you need to generally shoot pretty well from 3-point range to stay in striking distance until the last 5 minutes, basically.
And then you got to rebound and win the loose balls and be,
Sure.
I mean, so, okay, my thing is we went into the mirror and looked at the Celtics. So this is another team that is having a full meltdown. They have an identity crisis. They don't know who they are. They've got 2 all-stars, but they're not overachieving. They're underachieving, and they're struggling. And we looked them in the eye and we said, "I bet I can be worse than you."
Hold my beer.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the thing is these guys have no idea. They have not figured out how Jason Tatum has not unlocked his full potential. Brown is probably as good as he's going to be, and he's excellent. I mean, he could score 30 on you on a night, but like I'm not sure he's a superstar. But they have these 2 wings, right? And you think they can build around them, but they're not a cohesive unit. And I figured we could walk in and look in the mirror of a team that was also having an identity crisis and at least win one of those games. And we made it interesting in one game, but Tatum has still got more juice than anybody on our team.
Absolutely. Well, and he's one of those guys that can create his own shot and make shots, right? Like down the stretch. Like he's got that clutch gene, whatever that clutch it factor is, he has it. And Jaylen Brown does to some degree too, right? Like he makes big shots. We don't have a dude on that team. What made this Boston back-to-back thing worse to me was, okay, you drop game 1, and then game 2, you get fresh horses. We get a whole new lineup. We get LeVert back. We get Brogdon back, which are, in theory,
our 2 best backcourt
2
players.
of our best 3 players, right? And instead of coming out and being engaged from the beginning and being full throttle, we trailed wire to wire in that game. We're never in that game, right? And I just don't understand. Like it's not like Boston. I guess Boston had tape on what they had seen before, but like you'd think you just rely on what you saw the night before or 2 nights before, and then you come out and there's a different lineup. You'd be thrown for a loop a little bit, but we didn't even impose our will enough to make that an issue.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I mean, imposing our will is not what comes to mind when we give up 67 to their 2 best players and 23 to Schroeder, by the way.
Dude, but Harper, do you feel like this again? Like, we had a back-to-back, and we've talked a lot about how it's hard to win both those games for either team, because you see each other the night and the night after, and like you can make adjustments. Does this speak to coaching again, which is I keep pressing on? But like we made it interesting in the first game in their house, and then they came to our house, made adjustments. We brought in new people, and they were still comfortable with beating us comfortably the entire game,
throttling us.
Yeah.
Stomping on us.
Yeah, I mean, does this feels like a coaching issue to me, and I keep harping on this, and everybody's like, oh, it's Carlisle, he's the best, he's won a championship, he's good, but like this is incredibly disconcerting to me.
I mean, I get it. That doesn't the second Boston game didn't feel like a coaching thing to me, simply because as a coach, when you get 2 of your starters back, you don't feel like you should have to do that much. These guys are going to come out and take care of business because that's what they get
You don't
paid
have to
do.
do anything.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean that should
They're
be
adults.
the spark that they need, right? They shouldn't need a fiery speech from coach to go out and win, game 41 in the middle of the season. They should be excited to have their teammates back, but I mean, we got our starters back and we got worse, right? This team is confounding in that way, and it again just makes me even more question our personnel.
To me, it was a energy and effort thing from this starting unit. Again, we've talked about how that group sort of has no chemistry, and it showed in that second Boston game. I mean, I didn't catch a lot of that, but what I did catch of it, they rallied a little bit to close the first half, but then come out of the gates pretty stumbly.
Oh yeah,
and
just
then
get rocked coming out of the locker room.
Just like not engaged, really. Like nobody was really like, oh, let's do something about this. And when the starters come back, I mean, we've seen what Lance can do energy-wise. In that, I felt in the first Boston game that Lance provided a lot of great energy in the third quarter or fourth quarter, sort of bringing us back into
Keeping
that game
us
and
in
making it competitive,
making it
right?
get it overtime. Honestly,
and then he sees 20 minutes in the second Boston game, I think, something like that, and then only 10 in the Phoenix game, because you have these guys back, the Karis LeVerts and Chris Duartes that need to see the floor and have previously quote unquote earned their minutes. But that means that the one guy that's out there like bringing vivacity to the floor is not seeing the floor.
I think
not that it, and I should say, not to say that Lance has been the answer at all.
No.
Lance has come and we've won one game in the 7 that he's played or something like that. So it's not like all of a sudden he came and we're playing winning basketball. It's more fun basketball when he's on the floor.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
We're not winning ball
No,
games.
I mean, we can't score 100 points. And in the NBA, if you can't score 100 points, you're not going to win a lot of games. So adding to our defensive woes, now our offense sucks too, right? So we're not good at either phase of this game right now. And I thought Duarte's energy was really good. I think he plays really hard, but again, these guys just, I don't know. With the weapons that we have, hitting triple digits shouldn't be this big of a lift.
I think, for me, we talked about this even last week. Like, Sykes and Gummy Bear and, Lancy Pants are playing hard. They're the new guys. And, I don't know if the coaching staff is resonating with them or whatever, or they're not the damaged players, but like they're the ones that are like making stuff happen. So you bring back these starters and you're like, okay, well, we're just not going to play these other guys that many minutes anymore. These are the guys that are keeping us competitive. I think you're doing a disservice, because the thing is this team from top to bottom, we're how many games are we under 500 right now?
13 as of recording, I believe.
So why do I trust my starters? Why do I trust anybody that plays on this floor? Why do I not give the minutes to the guys that actually give a shit? So, I mean, for example, you said that Miles Turner led the way the other night. I don't believe that. I watched that game. He didn't lead the way. I have not. I've talked some schmack about Domantas Sabonis, and he's been our most consistent player. But like, he doesn't have the ability to take over the game in the final minutes and say, "This is mine." We don't have that guy.
Right.
And maybe because it's a wing league or whatever, but like, we don't have that thing. And so we're either going to go on a massive losing, like we're going to like drop a 15-point run at the end of the third and lose in the fourth.
Check.
Or we're going to go to overtime and not have the guys to hit the baskets to win the game.
Check.
Or the defense to stop.
Check.
What's
Bingo.
going on. Or to get the
Pacers
rebounds
bingo.
that you need. You know? Like, I mean, I just think that this has gotten to the point where I think this is why all these guys are the trading block, honestly. But the Karis LeVert, Malcolm Brogdon backcourt and the Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner frontcourt, none of these things are working right now. And it's got to change, because this is, I mean, look, was a 2-1 theory on my part optimistic? Yes. But we should have won one of these games. At least one of them.
I mean, we were in one of the games. We had a chance to win that first game.
We were in one of the games. We were in one other game for 3 quarters ish.
I mean, I never thought we were going to win that Suns game.
Yeah. No, I know.
Never.
But like, we made it look competitive for at least 3 quarters. We were never going to win that game.
Whenever they wanted to impose their will on us, they did.
Right. Good teams do that, right?
Yeah.
And we're not a good team.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, when we do get into those situations where we need a bucket, we really don't know what else to do other than just throw it into Sabonis. And every team in the league just knows to throw 3 guys at him.
Triple team him, yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll miss a wide open 3 because we shoot 19% from the arc now.
Like, atrociously bad from the arc. And like, and it's not like they're constantly challenged looks. It's not like teams are like running us off the 3-point line. It's like wide open looks.
Yeah.
And we just... And I certainly don't have confidence as a fan when those shots go up that they're going in. And you can see it in the guys' faces that they don't have confidence that it's going in. Other than Lance. Lance thinks every shot is.
That's why Lance matters, because he makes other people believe. And I just think he needs to be on the floor more, because he makes other people believe.
He at least makes me engaged as a fan.
Yeah.
You cannot play him 10 minutes against the Suns and tell me you're doing the right thing as a coaching staff. Like, I'm kind of out right now on the Carlisle.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
get your shit together, man.
I mean, nobody gets an A+
about,
right now.
Yeah.
You
guys were having
go ahead.
the eternal debate again last week of whether or not we should be trying to make it into the play-in and get better, or just go ahead and tank. And you're like, well, we're closer to the play-in than we are to last.
Which is true.
Barely. It is barely true now. We are 7 games out of the 10th spot right now. And we are only 7.5 games ahead of the Orlando Magic in the standings.
For the worst record in the
worst
league?
record in the league.
And they're still in the NBA? I had forgotten about Orlando completely as an entity.
Yes. So, yeah. And as far as going forward, where this Tankapalooza train is going to head,
next stop.
Next stop, California.
All right.
Monday, the Pacers take on the Los Angeles Clippers. That's a 3:30 start on your Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Where are we at? Wednesday, Pacers stay in LA and play the other team that plays in the. It's not the Staples Center anymore. It's Bitcoin Center. No,
Crypto?
Something like that.
Crypto
Yeah,
something,
cryptocurrency dot net or something like that.
Anyway, they play the Lakers. Thursday, a back-to-back, mind you. Fly up the coast to San Francisco and play the Golden State Warriors.
Dub.
And then Saturday, travel to Phoenix to take on the Suns in the Footprint Center and get their footprint all over our faces.
Yep.
Silver lining, it's a West Coast trip, so if you go to bed early, you don't even have to watch the game this week.
See, I'm in the wrong time zone, man.
It's kind of like turning off the news. Like you don't need it. You don't need the news. It's not that good for you.
Prediction, Coulson?
3-1.
4-0.
So it's a 4-game.
Four game.
I'm gonna go with 1-3.
You know I'm going sweep. 0-4.
0-4 sweep.
I feel like weirdly we're gonna go 2-2 and we're gonna be wildly confused.
And super excited
Why
for
is
next
this
week.
happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Can-
And like angry. We're gonna be angry.
It's like the mad that we're winning games.
Yes.
I would be shocked if a team that so far, I mean, we are 3-16 on the road this year, and we're playing the toughest teams out in the West.
3-16.
So atrocious. It is amazing.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
Yep.
And we're playing the best teams in the West.
It's like a 15% winning percentage.
So can I do an apology real quick? I think we
Yep,
threw off
I'm waiting.
We threw off the fans last week. I think we told them that Lance was re-signed for the entire season. We had information on that on the internet.
Good point.
And you should not trust the internet all the time. Apparently, he's just signed another 10-day contract. He is still on the team. But at the end of this week, next time you hear our pod, he will probably be done with that 10-day contract. Is that correct?
Yeah.
He'll be close.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if this team doesn't sign him long-term, I'm probably going to go on strike for the rest of the season.
Oh, can I?
Do we need to pick another team to do a podcast
I already said, I said it
or?
first, Harper. You have to watch all the games.
Damn it. Well,
But
you'd
if
be
you
shocked
don't
to
bring
know
Lance
that.
back, if you don't bring Lance back, you don't care about winning.
Obviously. According to the Sportsline projection, we now have less than a 1% chance of making the dance at all. So, cool.
1% chance to make them dance.
So you're telling me there's a chance? All right. Well, thank you for listening.
I mean, I guess.
No, definitely thank you. For
Oh, no.
listening.
Thank them. I'm glad they're listening. But, man, this is rough.
Yeah.
Boo
kudos
on the
to you
Pacers.
for following the Pacers this season.
Or for
Keep in touch with us.
listening to us instead of watching any.
Yeah. No, actually, we'll keep you up to date on what's going on.
Yeah. That's
You don't
right.
have to watch them anymore. You just listen to us. This is our new marketing campaign. Don't watch the terrible team. Listen to this terrible podcast.
Yeah. I think I smell a T-shirt.
Yeah.
It seems like a T-shirt. We'll be back with you on Thursday to further delve into the crappiness that is this team. If you want to reach out to us between now and then, you can do so on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables. If you go to our website, TheUndebeatables.com, there's a contact form there. And you can also use a good old-fashioned AOL email and shout out at theundebeatables.com. And speaking of t-shirts, I think we still have one schmedium left. I forgot to get it when I went home to Indy. So it's still there.
No,
so you
but
guys got to buy it.
We've got the other ones in the queue. I mean, like, they're queued up. We're ready to send out new t-shirts. Somebody's got to get the schmedium.
It could be you.
Me?
No, the listener.
Okay.
You sing.
For the architect Donnie Walsh and our once and always Hall of Fame coach Bobby Leonard. Turn out the lights. The party is over.
So Cabin Fever has fully taken over.
I can't leave my house.
Unbelievable.
All right, that's a thing.
You realize you're just making Harper's job either very easy or very hard.
Yeah, he knows that I'm not going to cut anything out.
I need to edit this one. We'll see.
I need to take the reins.